In math today, we are starting a new topic called fractions. And I know many of you are really excited to start fractions just like I am. So welcome back. We're going to go ahead and start by looking at our success criteria.
Did you say that just because I walked in here?
There's Mr. Kemper, everyone.
Hey-o.
Hey.
Hey, guys. Now I'm showing my face.
Here he is. You guys don't believe me.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. Good to see you. Miss you. Enjoy your fractions. Fractions are everywhere.
All right. We're going to start with a video from Miss Thaxton about our success criteria for fractions. So I want students looking and listening, ready to go.
Hello, third grade. We're going to start our math unit on fractions. And our first learning target is going to be learning target 3G4. Partition shapes into parts with equal areas. Express the area of each part as a unit fraction of the whole. 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/6, and 1/8. I have the entire scale here because this is an introduction to the whole understanding of what a fraction is. And we are going to be looking at some vocabulary terms. Partition should sound familiar to you from our division unit. Area, we just finished talking about area of a shape. Equal, unit fraction, part, and whole are all words that we're going to become familiar with as we go through this unit. We're going to practice partitioning shapes into parts with equal areas and then expressing the area of each part as a unit fraction of the whole. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch this brain pop video. You're going to need to have your whiteboard out. If you don't have your whiteboard with you, you might want to take out a piece of paper or open up your math notebook and have a pencil.
All right, so Mrs. Thaxton has given you a direction to take out your whiteboard and marker. If you do not have your whiteboard and marker, you can just get out your math notes and a pencil and be ready. We're going to start with the brain pop video. As we watch the brain pop video, I want you to consider these two questions. Number one, what is a fraction? What is it? And number two, what is the difference between a half and a third? I want you thinking about these two questions, and if you see an answer in the brain pop video, you can write it down on your whiteboard or in your math notes.
Wait, stop. You're supposed to share with the whole class. Moby, that's not fair. Everyone is supposed to get equal parts of the sandwich. What is a fraction? A fraction tells you the number of parts out of a whole. Not that kind of whole, Moby. Something is whole when it has all of its parts. I love muffins. This whole muffin has 2 equal parts. In a fraction, the number of parts goes under a line. There are 2 parts. You took 1 part of the muffin, and that number goes on top. So this fraction shows you took 1 out of 2 parts. You can also write this as 1/2. What is a half? When you split something in half, you make 2 equal parts. Right, Moby, there are 2 halves in a whole. Half for you and half for me. There are 2 equal pieces, and we each get 1 piece. Sometimes I see a half moon at night. And everyone loves a half day of school. What is a third? We can share this cake between you, me, and Grandpop. We can cut the cake into thirds. That means we divide it into 3 equal pieces. We each get 1 slice. So Grandpop gets 1 out of 3 slices. We each get 1/3 of the whole cake. There are 3 of us, but only 1 is a robot. So 1 out of 3 of us is a robot. What is a fourth? I love apple pie, and this pie has 4 equal slices. You took 1 slice. So you took 1 out of 4 slices, or 1/4 of the slices. 1/4 is also called 1/4. Exactly, Moby. There are 4 quarters in a dollar. So 1/4 is 1/4 of a dollar. I can divide a lot of things into fourths. Like a piece of paper, a cup of water, an inch, or an hour. I think all this sugar is making us sick, Moby. We better cut up the sandwich so everyone can get an equal piece. It's okay, Moby. I've got a slice saved right here. Wait, you're supposed to give me half. I guess you can keep mine.
All right, boys and girls, we have just focused on what is a fraction and what is the difference between a half and a third. When you go into a breakout room, you are going to talk about what you heard in the video about these 2 questions. What is a fraction? What is the difference between a half and a third? I'm going to send you to your breakout rooms. Please give me a minute so I can make sure everybody's in a room. Now you need your math notebook with the purple tape and a pencil ready for math notes. Please get those ready. We will turn to the next blank page in our math notes. And today our title is going to be Fractions. We are starting a new topic. Fractions is the title of our notes today. After you title your notes fractions, today we're going to start by defining what a whole is, like in the Brain Pop video. Whole is a vocabulary word that you need to know. Our definition of whole is all parts of an item or a set of things. A whole is all parts of an item or a set of things. We use this word whole a lot when you are eating a pizza. If you eat all the pieces of the pizza, you eat the whole pizza. A whole is all the parts of an item or a set of things. After I write the definition of whole, I'm going to draw a picture that will help me remember. So the example I gave was when you eat all of the pieces of a pizza, you eat the whole pizza. So I'm going to draw a picture of a pizza and just kind of give myself a picture to remember that this is the whole. All of the parts come together to make the whole. Go ahead and draw your picture there. Our next word for fraction vocabulary is the word part. Part. Go ahead and record part for your next word. The word part means a piece of the whole. Part is one of the pieces. A piece of the whole. For this picture, I'm going to draw the whole, but then I'm going to shade one of the pieces to help me remember that part means one of the pieces of the whole. So I'm going to draw my same pizza. But this time I'm going to pick one of the parts and I'm going to shade it to help me remember that a piece of the whole is called a part. We use this word part a lot of times when we talk too. Like maybe there is one of those big cookies, like you might see at a birthday party, like one of those huge cookies with icing on it. And maybe you really want to eat the whole, you want to eat all of it, but your parent says, no, you can have part of it. You can have a piece of it. I don't want you to eat the whole cookie. Okay, so these are two vocabulary words that we need to understand when we talk about fractions. Whole is when all of the parts are there. Part is a piece of it, a chunk of it. Our next word that we need to know is the word fraction. After we watched the Brain Pop video, we started asking ourselves, well, what is a fraction? What is it? So we're going to write the definition together. A fraction is part of a whole A fraction is part of a whole. Here comes a big word, represented. That means it is shown, part of a whole, represented by a, two more big words that we're going to define in just a second. A fraction is part of a whole represented by a numerator. That's a word we're going to talk about in just a second. And denominator. Here's the second word we're going to define. A fraction is part of a whole represented by a numerator and denominator. If you don't know what these words are, that's okay. We're going to talk about them next. If you are done writing your definition, I want you to practice saying numerator, practice saying denominator, numerator, denominator. Those are tricky words for third graders to say. Okay, for our next part, I have to make my page a little bigger here so you can see. I am going to write a fraction over here. I'm going to write it quite large. You're going to see it in just a second. You can make yours big like mine. Okay, here is a fraction. Here's an example of a fraction. The two words that we're talking about are numerator and denominator. The numerator of a fraction is the top number. The numerator is on top. The numerator is on top. I'm going to draw an arrow to the top number, and I'm going to label this as the numerator. The numerator is on top. The bottom number in a fraction is called the denominator. Can you say that? Denominator. Good. I'm going to draw an arrow that points to the bottom number. We're going to label this one denominator. Denominator to me sounds like a scary monster in a movie. The denominator. Hopefully that makes you remember. Another trick that kids use to remember which is which is pretty easy. Who wants to know the trick? Who wants to know? Okay, here's the trick. Denominator starts with a D. Denominator starts with the letter D, and it is down. Denominator's on the bottom, it's down. So if you think of down, you might remember denominator's on the bottom. Denominator's on the bottom. Numerator's on top. Numerator's on top. Denominator's on the bottom. Or if you want to think of me being the scary denominator, whatever works, right? I'm thinking Maberly really likes me being the scary denominator. I can tell right now that she really wants me to do it one more time. Denominator. Yeah, thank you, Landon. Thank you, I appreciate that. You guys are really scary denominators. Whew, oh boy, I'm scared. Okay, these are our notes for today, boys and girls. Tomorrow, we're gonna talk more about what do these numbers mean. But what you need to know today is that a fraction is a representation. Like we saw in the brain pop, if there are 6 parts of the sandwich and you only get 1 part of the sandwich, you get 1/6. We're going to keep talking about what that means, but today I really want you focused on numerators on top, denominator down is on the bottom. Great work on our note taker. To find our task for math today, please click on Activities, Assign to Class folder, blue, Math. And today our task is called Introduction to Fractions. Please go ahead and get that open. Okay, when you open to our task today, you will see slides 1 and 2 are the same. We're going to start on slide 1 together. Then when you start your work time, you will do slide 2 by yourself. So we're going to continue taking notes, but we're not going to use our notebook and pencil. We're going to take notes on Seesaw together. Here we go. Notes, parts of a whole. Remember, the whole is all of the items. A part is one piece. Today we're going to learn some other words like half, third, fourth, sixth, and eighth. Today we're going to practice partitioning them into equal areas. Let's start with half together. A tool we're going to use can be found when you click on the ... and click on Shapes. You will first see some arrows and then you'll see the bar or the line tool. We're going to use this tool today as we partition shapes into equal parts. So let's start with half. We know what a half is from second grade. A half means there are 2 equal parts. So I can partition my circle model like this to show 2 equal areas. I notice that the top is the same size as the bottom. I could also partition the shape like this. There are still 2 equal parts. You can partition it going up and down or left to right. That's your choice. Next to my circle model, I have a rectangle model or a bar model. I'm going to click the ... again, click Shapes, and get the same tool. I want to represent a half in a bar model. So I know that I need 2 equal parts to represent half. I can partition the shape like this. I notice top and bottom are equal. Or I could turn it and I could partition left to right. Either way is correct. I'm going to leave mine up and down. I like that today. So I want you to check yours. Can you partition the circle model and the bar model into a half? Practice partitioning with your line tool right now. Now it's time to partition our third into models. Our model into thirds, excuse me. I'm going to start by doing a line like this. This is a tricky one, boys and girls. I'm going to do an up and down line like this. And it's going to go halfway to the center. Then I'm going to add another line and another line. And I'm going to make an upside down Y as best as I can. Upside down Y to make 3 equal parts. Remember, boys and girls, I've had a lot of practice doing this. It's okay if yours is not exactly perfect, but when you check your model, you want to check that all of the parts are equal in size. Remember, our success criteria talks about taking a shape and partitioning it into equal areas, equal parts. I have now shown 3 parts on my third model. Now I have the bar model or the rectangle model. I'm going to continue using up and down lines. And I'm going to make 3 equal sections or areas as best as I can. When I make my model, I want to check to see that my parts are equal as much as I can. 1, 2, 3 parts. 1, 2, 3 parts. All right, let's go on to fourths. A fourth means there are 4 equal parts put together to make the whole. 4 equal parts to make the whole. I'm going to partition left to right into a half. Then I can partition into another half to make 4 equal parts. I can do 4 equal parts showing a bar model as well. Going to turn these because I like to do up and down. If you want to partition yours differently, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to check that I've got 4 equal areas. My white spaces look about the same size. I think I've shown fourths to the best of my ability. Great job. All right, third grade, it's time to talk about your independent work time. We have run out of a little bit of time, so here's what we're going to do. The first thing you want to do is I want you to finish these 2 problems. I want you to see if you can partition this one into 6 equal parts and this one into 8 equal parts. I want you to practice doing that since we didn't have time together. Then on slide number 2, I want you to take a big X and cross it out. I do not want you to do slide number 2 all over again. I want you to cross it out. You will not do slide number 2. Then you will continue on. You will read the directions. And I want you to practice partitioning into equal parts. Look at the numbers down below. Mrs. Thaxton shows you 4. That means you need 4 equal parts. You will practice partitioning the shape into 4 equal parts. Check each problem to see the denominator to see how many equal parts you should have. You will do this on slide 3, slide 4, and slide 5. That's all you need to do today. Then you will reflect on your success today with partitioning into equal areas. So just a quick review. I want you to finish slide 1, partition into 6s and 8s. Skip number 2, don't have to do it. Then practice partitioning each shape. Make sure you're looking at the number in the denominator so you know how many shapes to put into it, how many parts to put into it. After you reflect on your success today, you will turn it in with a green check.